name is Chris Davidson. I'm one of the managing members of Blue Ridge Heating and Air. Blue Ridge is a residential, primarily heating and air company. So we do service work for customers. We do maintenance. We like to maintain customers' units to help them make their units last longer. And then if they need a new replacement, we're also there to replace the unit for them. Ben and I are both, we have engineering degrees. We spent a lot of time working in industry. We worked for General Electric and their reliability engineering group. And we've kind of taken a lot of those practices into the heating and air profession. So we have a product that we're working on, right, that we've developed. It's called AirGuard, and it's a mold sensor, right? It's there to detect mold, right, and also to predict if you have the conditions that mold can grow in.
Well, according to the EPA, the outdoor air is 10 times higher quality than the indoor air. And most people don't realize that, particularly now with some of the newer homes that have the spray foam insulation. They're very tight. You don't have any of the natural infiltration of the outside air into the home. And so things that produce off gases, carpets, furniture, these vent-free gas logs, gas stoves, there's all kinds of things that are producing gases in the house that we don't really think about, and over time can create pretty poor quality air.
We work a lot with homes of all types and conditions, and then we noticed that in a certain percentage of them, they have mold, biological growth in their homes. We're there to help them replace systems, replace ductwork, those kind of things. But there's nothing out there that helps a customer know that they have the presence of mold in their system, or maybe in their crawl space or in other parts of their homes. And it goes on for years, right? It can cause health effects with their family members, those kind of things. And that's what kind of led to it. Friends and close people that we know that just couldn't live in their homes anymore and they couldn't figure out what was going on. They were having respiratory issues, they couldn't sleep. It's just really affecting their health.
The way we identified that there could be an opportunity here is a little bit like I was describing earlier, where the condition of mold in the crawl space was fairly common, or in the duct system, or in the indoor unit, whether it's a gas furnace or an air handler. So we would be there for one thing, not necessarily, hey, we have a mold problem, but then our technician would discover that they have a mold problem. And then it turns into, how do we deal with that mold problem and prevent it from coming back? How that turned into this product, I mean, honestly, I believe Chris probably was taking the lead on it. He actually had some neighbors that had some really bad experience with mold that I think kind of got his attention. But, we have this background from reliability engineering at GE, building AI models for different purposes over there, and saw the opportunity to take a sensor and train it with an AI model to do something that hadn't been done before, which is look for detection of mold, and with the hope being that you can detect mold pretty early on before it gets bad and it's expensive and also a bad health problem.
I can't really remember the day, but it's been over the last several years. There's customers or people in my neighborhood that I was invited to go inspect their house after they had a big mold problem, and the customer had spent over $100,000 getting his house back to livable condition so he could move his family in. And one of his kids was impacted to the point that they had permanent health problems, right? Well, we're gonna take a system, right, or a customer's home, and they're each unique in their own special fashion, right? And then we're gonna try to find a solution that fits that customer's need to meet the outcomes that they want. That's really what we want to do. We want to provide a customer a solution that delivers what they're looking for, whether it's a heating solution, a cooling solution, a humidity solution, or even with the sensor, indoor air quality solution to help them fix a specific problem.
I think we're at a point where we know it can do what we want it to do. We need to, in the sense that, yes, this sensor can classify the VOCs and tell you that it's mold, right? Which is the new thing here. I think the part that we're about to venture into is putting these into customers' houses, getting feedback on, what do they think about it being there? What do they find valuable about it? And is it really going to be the leading indicator that we want it to be to address problems before they get bad?
We filed a patent, a conditional patent. We've gone to the platform at Greer, right? And they've helped us understand kind of that customer need, right? We have a coach through the platform. His name is Ken, and he's helping to coach us through that, right? Make sure we've got a customer out there that really wants this product. And that's kind of where we're at. We're taking it to the kind of the next level. We've built many of these. We're installing them in customers' homes. We're training AI algorithms, right, to detect this mold. Those kind of things are going on now. You know, there's a lot of different talents that have to be brought together, from legal to marketing to coaching to engineering, right, to product development. And that's what Innovision and even the platform at Greer have helped us with, is to kind of find that community that we can tap into to get those skills that we don't have. Because we don't have all the skills, right? We need to go out there and you know, work with folks that know how to interview and take video, right? Those kind of things to help us kind of move this thing forward.
I think we're designed to do that. You know, we're not, we don't do things so much off of instinct, right? We're people with minds that can think and create and take the talents that we've been gifted with and the resources and the education and look for opportunities to make our life better. You know, a lot of innovation comes out of, you know, how can I just do less work and make my life easier? And in this case, it's how can we address a problem that's not been addressed? And that's the cool thing about innovation is, you know, especially today with the technology that's available and the rapid pace of development, the opportunities just abound. I mean, what we're talking about doing today probably could have been done 10 years ago because the components that we're putting in this sensor weren't available. The types of models that we're building to put on that sensor were not as easily available as they are today. So it's an exciting time to be an innovator.
Yeah, it gives you kind of a sense of accomplishment, right? I mean, just yesterday I was talking to a customer, right? And his mother couldn't live in the house, right? And now they're able to move back in because they were able to get all that mold out of their ductwork and that kind of stuff, right? So that kind of thing gives you a sense of joy, right? Hey, we helped another customer, they're able to move back into their home, they're able to sleep at night, they've got a better quality of life. There's a big opportunity there. And it's just hard to measure, it's hard to quantify, so people don't really know that's happening to them. It kind of sneaks up on you, right? That kind of thing.
There's an app. I mean, we can show you on the phone the app. We could also pull it up on the computer on that screen there and show you like a desktop view of this. But the sensor will connect to the customer's Wi-Fi, and then we'll register that sensor with our system in the cloud that will allow us with their permission, right? We don't want to monitor anything at the customer's house without their permission, but with their permission, we can monitor. You know, eventually we'll have alerts and things to say, hey, you're in the danger zone. You're going to get an email, maybe a push to the app on your phone that, you know, hey, conditions are ripe for mold to start growing within the next 3 days or something like that. There's a lot of counterintuitive things that can happen in the home from your heating and air system and from the overall indoor air quality. The heating and air system, you know, a common problem is that contributes to the mold is that the air conditioner wasn't properly sized for the house needs. So if the air conditioner is too big, it kind of cycles on and off. It doesn't run as much as it needs to because as soon as it comes on, very quickly it hits the desired temperature. If it doesn't run enough, especially in South Carolina and the Southeast, it's not pulling the humidity out of the house. And so now you've got this humidity in the house that, you know, people start to see condensation around vents and things like that. And eventually that's where mold will start showing up. And it has to do with, you know, the wrong side of the air conditioner, right? So, but traditionally you would think, well, if I don't really know what to do, bigger's better, right? I don't want to have a system that can't keep up. But you want a system that can keep up, but runs the right amount of time so it does the job to keep your house healthy from a humidity standpoint.
And I really like HVAC because it's local, right? We want to be a lot more local with our local community. It's a good industry that is ripe for innovation, right? Which is important to us. And engineering skills transfer pretty well here, right? So we can engineer solutions for customers to help them solve problems. And we can do that in Greenville, right, is really why we chose it. I mean, this is my home. This is where I raised my kids, right? These are all my neighbors, right? So it's important for me. This is where I'm going to stay for a while.